And now we're going to enter the stage of the game where players are likely to be operating with a lot of mana up, and
that's going to get, that Jace is going to get negated right away, which is not too much of a surprise.
Yeah. And this opens up the window for Sam here to resolve a Jace of his own.
So big turn there from Sam as he's going to minus that. He's going to turn over a Hallowed Fountain, Island, and we got a third card coming, and that's another copy of Jace. So it's going to be lands versus Jace. Pardee is going to take Jace immediately, and he'll pass it over to Ryan. And Ryan's going to play Temple of Enlightenment. Top card going to go to the top. Here's a Jace here from him. So this is going to tick down as well. 3 cards coming are a Dissolve, a Sphinx's Revelation, and a Temple of Silence. So we'll see how Pardee wants to chop these.
One of the upsides also of building the way that Sam has is he gets access to Mutavault. Mutavault is, of course, incredibly powerful and also good at taxing Jace in the mirror match. Sam does not have it in play currently, but it's another dimension of the game.
So cards are going to go to the bottom. Cards will go to the grip here for Ryan. He'll take the land. And he's going to pass it back over to Pardee. Pardee will take a draw. It's a negate. He's going to play a Plains. He's going to move Jace up. Doesn't want to cash it in just yet. Wants to leave a bunch of counter magic available. He does have enough blue mana to be able to cast Dissolve and negate in the same turn. Temple of Silence here for Ryan. Top card going to go to the bottom. Jace will tick up here for Ryan as well, kind of mimicking Sam's play. As Sam will draw a card, he's going to take Jace down. Here's an Elspeth. There's a Syncopate, and that's another Syncopate.
Yeah, and in the mirror match, or mirror-ish match, when a player doesn't have the ability to tax your Jace, whether it's with Mutavault or a creature, you're often going to see this pattern of take up Jace to 3, minus it, take it back up to 3 until another Jace is found.
All right, here's the first card that can really facilitate a little bit of action, which is Sin Collector. So Pardee's going to split that 2 lands versus Sin Collector. Godless Shrine and Mutavault are going to go to the bottom. Collector's going to go to the grip here for Ryan. So he wants to actually start to facilitate a little bit of action in this game. So here is a Sin Collector. That is a Dissolve. So we're going to see no counter war, but Ryan does have a copy of Thoughtseize in his hand. So he could have led with that if he wanted to resolve the Sin Collector. Now here is a Thoughtseize.
I'm actually a really big fan of Sin Collector right now, and kind of Blood Baron in the mirror match for a similar reason, as most people are sideboarding into negate and gainsay. So a black and white creature is really well suited to the task. The fact that Sin Collector also acts as another duress and Thoughtseize effect is excellent as well.
Temple of Enlightenment here for Pardee. He'll take a look at the top card. He's going to put that to the bottom. He'll tick up his Jace. And he's just going to pass the turn back over to Ryan, who will quickly untap. He's got the ability to move ahead on lands here, as both players haven't missed just yet.
Although the issue, as you've mentioned, is not just moving ahead in terms of resources, but time now really working against Matt as well.
3 mana. There's a Nightveil Spectre. And this is a card that's really going to draw probably something here from Sam, because it's a difficult card to take care of. This is a Dissolve, and that's going to resolve. So a Scry here from Pardee is going to leave that card on top and pass the turn back. Pardee will quickly draw. Again, we know he has an Elspeth. He draws him and plays a Mutavault. See if he's going to cash in Jace. No, he's just going to move that up to 3. And will he try to resolve an Elspeth here? He also has a Sphinx's Revelation in his hand.
And this Mutavault's going to contort Matt's play going forward here.
And there is an Elspeth. And Pardee knows that Ryan does not have a counterspell, as he would have fought over some of these cards a little bit earlier. So he does resolve an Elspeth. Creatures are going to come into play. Now, Pardee knows that Ryan does have an Attention Sphere in his hand, but I don't think that he really cares about that D-Sphere in this situation.
Not really, and you got to get it out at some point. So Sam's, I think, trying to play the game where he exhausts both players' resources and sets up a big Revelations to regas.
Hallowed Fountain going to come into play tapped. This is a Thoughtseize, a Revelation, and a Jace. Probably just have to take the Rev. And again, excuse me, that's not all that exciting, because he's got to try to beat the Jace that's in play right now too.
Yeah, Sam has a lot of access to a lot of different sources of card advantage, so this is not an easy fight for Matt to win, but he's got to start somewhere, and the Revelations is the most threatening thing in the short term.
Pardee's going to tick down his Jace to see an Archangel of Thune, a Plains, and a Detention Sphere. Archangel's going to go to the grip. Other stuff's going to go to the bottom. Now, we mentioned cards like Blood Baron and Sin Collector coming in. You'd oftentimes are a little bit surprised to see Pardee maybe boarding an Archangel in this matchup, but I'm kind of with you in that in this situation where people are boarding out their verdicts and answers to cards like this, you can actually catch someone by surprise with a card like Archangel of Thune. And because Ryan has used Detention Sphere already, Archangel's probably going to be a big problem.
Yeah, just being more proactive in general is also helpful for setting up your revelations. You want to be actually casting all the stuff in your hand. I see this actually occur in these mirror matches sometimes where someone's sitting on so many counter spells that they are able to resolve a big revelation, but they just end up discarding a bunch of cards. So casting everything and then revelationing is a much better sequence than just sitting on a purely reactive hand and then revelating.
Mutavault and Archangel Thune are going to come into the red zone. Of course, the tokens are going to stay at home because of the Jace activation. So Archangel and Mutavault are going to be a little bit smaller, but it looks like Pardee is going after Jace potentially here with the attack. We'll figure out exactly where damage is going, but creatures are going to get a little bit bigger now that Archangel has dealt some damage, gained some life, and the trigger's resolved.
And this is actually really cool, too, because now the tokens from Elspeth are no longer locked out by this Jace.
Yeah.
Now they're 2/2s, and that's a big deal.
Revelation is going to get dispelled. A timely draw there from Mr. Pardee, as he did not have that when the turn started. All he had was a Jace. A Temple of Silence. He's going to put the top card to the bottom here for Ryan. But he's underneath pressure from a couple different ways here, Patrick. You've got the creatures, you've got the Mutavault, and you've got Jace kind of messing around in the backup Jace in the hand as well.
And you have the clock.
Yes.
So that's another threat that Matt needs to answer here.
2 and 3, you've got Dissolve, you've got an Elspeth, and you've got a Detention Sphere. We'll see how Pardee wants to separate this. It's going to be Elspeth versus, it looks like. No, he's going to say Detention Sphere versus Dissolve and Elspeth.
Yeah, Elspeth doesn't provide a lot of defense right now, as Pardee can basically just kill it in the air or outclass it with his now 2/2 and growing tokens.
Yep. So we'll see what Ryan wants to take here, but his back is up against the wall in a big way. And you see that Pardee has just bored into a lot of counter spells and a little bit of a, kind of switch up plan here with the Archangel of Thunes coming in.
Yeah, Archangel is definitely unconventional. I've not seen this come in a mirror match type situation, but it is all part of the plan of just trying to be generally more proactive.
See a bunch of mana going to get tapped here for the Elspeth. That will resolve.
And again, when the counters that people are bringing in are negate and gainsay, something like Archangel can often just randomly be unanswered.
Elspeth has to take care of the Archangel, so it ticks down. To get that thing off the table, Pardee's going to cash in his Jace. He's going to turn over a Jason Island and a Temple of Silence. So it'll be Jace versus, and Pardee says, I will take the Planeswalker, thank you much. Lands are going to go to the bottom. Pardee really, really humming along here now. So he's going to tap 4 mana. He's going to deploy another copy of Jace. That's going to get dissolved, it looks like, and that will resolve. So a Scry coming here for Ryan. That top card quickly going to the bottom of the deck. Pardee is going to get some attacking going on here momentarily. We'll just want to see where he wants to go. And he says, you know what? How about a third Jace first? So 1, 2, and 3 lands. Temple versus is probably what the split's going to be, and it is. Pardee will take a Temple of Deceit. He has not played a land yet this turn, so you see him immediately put that into play. He'll scry, leave that card on top, and now the attacks. Going to take down Elspeth, get some damage across here. Going to put Ryan down to 11, and then pass the turn back.
Sam is just playing this game in a really efficient way. I mean, there has not been very much in the way of wasted mana.
Yep. Temple of Enlightenment going to come on top, going to leave that card on top, pass the turn back.
And this is actually pretty compelling to watch Sam, as he's a player that I definitely associate with Mono Blue Devotion primarily. Had a lot of success with that deck.
Archangel of Thune, Gainsay, and Mutavault are the cards. Gainsay and Mutavault going to come to the grip. Archangel of Thune going to go to the bottom. Mutavault is the land for the turn. Pardee's going to attack here for 8. He's going to put Ryan down to 3. He's got a counterspell in Gainsay for whatever this top card could be for Ryan. It's a Jace. Sam's going to counter that, and that's an extension of the hand. Sam Pardee, Grand Prix Portland champion, Grand Prix Albuquerque runner-up, and very good at Magic Online too.
I've caught some beatdowns from the Samster online.
As have I.
I have no shame in admitting it. Sam has cooked my goose more than once.
He's your winner in this match. He starts his tournament off 1-0, defeats Matt Ryan in 2 games, as the clock doesn't really play a huge role in this matchup. In this particular games here, oftentimes plays a huge role in this matchup, but Sam was able to win game number 1 with about 20 minutes left to go, and then really slice and dice his way through game number 2.
No, it was impressive to see Sam win that quickly. You also see a lot of players when they're up a game and it's a slow matchup where they're going to try to sideboard their deck to be so reactive, play not to lose. Sam was still playing that game to win and was able to win in, I don't know, what was that, 10 minutes? That was pretty fast.
It did not take a very long time for him to get the job done there. So, again, impressive win for him, and we're off to a really nice start here in Los Angeles. You see Christian Keith defeat Ben Lundquist, and then Sam Pardee winning his match. So, the other thing to keep in mind here too, Patrick, 4 different archetypes. throughout our first 2 matches.
No, there's